Dahlin, President.
Correlation.
Managing Board Member.
TJ Natural, Vice President.
Tina Heidelberger, Secretary.
Did anybody get a chance to read the minutes from last month that were sent out? Everybody? Anybody have any complaints, changes, anything like that for the meeting minutes? I'd like to have a motion to approve the last meeting minutes.
First motion.
Second.
There we go, approved. Financial?
All right, so our current checking account balance as of today was $42,275.12. Our CD had a balance of $7,055.41. We do have an additional savings account but that's not listed on here. So our savings account, as of our balance statement that we just received 2 days ago, was $42,740. So together, approximately $84,000 is what we have between the two checking savings, and then another $7,500 or $7,000 in our CD. So, any questions about any of that?
Do you know when the CD's up?
I have it on here. That's one of the new business things is, so it matures on 9/2, so we need to figure out what we want to do with that money. If we want to put it in another CD, if we want to take it out and put it in a high yield savings account, we might get a better return in a high yield savings account. So that's something that you'll have to decide as a board what you want to do with that. But we have until 9/2 or prior to 9/2, we need to make a decision of what to do with that.
Excellent.
So that was the next thing on the new business, so.
Well update. We have a plan. Plan's out. I believe we are waiting for the state to approve.
Yep, it was just sent to the state. The permit plan review is taking place right now. Sounds like the site visit's going to be April 16th. They're going to come out and hopefully approve where the site of the well is going to be. So it's probably still another month away before approval.
Okay. There is a stake. If everybody wants to go look. He did do a bunch of measurements, pictures, sent everything to the state. Did look at some new, maybe for a possible third well down the line location. He's thinking if we do the third well, we can put it all in the pump house and go up from there. Pump house is going to need some work, but we should be able to do that. Shed updates. Right now, we're going to have enough money to cover the well. We lost a $10,000 grant April 1st. It was from the end of 2023 to the start of 2024 that it was given to us. And they called when our $15,000 was approved to say that that no longer is in effect. So that went back to the state. So we had some extensions on it. Said they just couldn't let us have that anymore. So we do have the $15,000. We will have to have the project done by February 27th of 2027. Put in our receipts, get the $15,000 from the state yet. So that's where we sit. Any questions? Thank you. Next meeting date for anything? Any questions on what's going to happen? We have the plan in with the state. Our excavator is Terry. That's going to do our excavating for us. I don't know if we have a quote from Terry at all on that. Okay.
Who's Terry?
Terry is with LJJ. He's our,
Septic.
yep, he does the septic for the district, the sanitary district. And he also owns an excavation company, so.
He works for Jones. It's Jones.
Okay,
Jones on Pine City.
okay. So do you want me to email him and ask him for a
I don't,
quote?
I.
Or not yet?
Not yet, not
Okay.
until we have approval from the state, to make sure they're not gonna move it. I mean, it's all gonna change
I
footage
think
wise.
Trout is gonna work directly with Terry.
Yeah,
Okay.
We won't have to line it
Yeah.
up or anything.
they're just gonna send us a bill and away we go. Like I said, we're gonna be tight on expenses. We won't have much money, if anything, left in our account after this is done, so. Any questions on that?
So what's the estimate right now for this drill excavating for the
We
well?
don't really have anything for the excavating. To drill a well, I think it's at 30, and to hook it up, it's around 32, so it's about 60. We won't have all the electrical work that needs to be done. And then any updating that we do to the shed, that'll be, to completely rebuild the shed, it was like $6 grand. I don't know that we need to do that. So we're up in that. I'm guessing probably 75 to 80 by the time it's completely done.
So did you say that Trout's gonna just work, has the prime, the GC on everything, and then everything runs through them, or the excavating's gonna be a separate bill, the electrical's gonna be a separate
There'll
bill?
be separate bills, but they'll work through.
They'll
I
be-
told Trout we would pay Terry directly.
Okay,
It wouldn't go through him.
all right.
Same with the electrician, we'll have to get an electrician. I don't know what the cost of that's gonna
And all of the updating for the plumbing inside and.
be. That's included in Trout's
It is,
hookup cost.
okay.
Yeah.
Do we wanna put some sort of a budget together so we can know what a target is? Bring some buckets?
We can, I talked to the electrician, it's just hard to get anybody to come out and give bids.
Not
I
knowing the
can
full
reach out
plan,
again.
What's that?
not knowing the full plan, distance. We're pretty much holding on the state right now to get the approval before we can say this is the spot, so many feet, so deep.
So we know there's gonna be some overruns of, we're gonna have a overrun of what our current money bucket is for that, right?
I don't think so. If
It's
she
gonna,
says
it's
we
gonna
got
be tight on
80
the shed.
If she's got 84,000 and then we got 25,000 in grant.
And the CD.
And the CD, yeah, so. No, I don't think we're gonna be short on funds at all.
But it's gonna be tight. Any other questions? Do we want to have a next meeting? Sooner rather than later, during the mid-project? Do we want to wait a couple months?
If we did it quarterly, it would be July that's the next time that we meet. We voted at our last meeting to change our annual meeting to October, so we already have that established. But if we want to continue to meet on a quarterly basis, that would be July. So,
Maybe during the project?
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I mean, it sounds like the ball's gonna get rolling early summer. It sounds like the goal point is once we hear around the 16th, or they're just coming out on the 16th.
They're just going out for a site visit on the 16th.
And then the 16th,
And then the way it's on, if we get approved, it's go at that point in time.
So how long is this project gonna last? Say they get going June 15th, is it gonna take 3 months, 2 months, 1 month,
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Well,
The big thing is redoing the shed,
but that's gonna have to happen during the process of them
Yep.
shutting the well down, removing everything so we can get in there, put new board up around the interior,
ceiling,
insulation ceiling, you know, once all their stuff, once all the equipment's out, then we can go in there, we'll need a couple hours to get in there to put all that back, and then they can redo it. And the shed can be done at any time, the exterior and stuff, it's not something that's gonna hold up the well. To drill the well, a couple days, I would say, to dig it in, plumb it, you're looking at another couple days. But I don't know that it's gonna happen in consecutive days.
And later too.
We could drag
water flowing?
Well, they are gonna shut it off when they hook up. And I asked them to snake the lines to kind of give us an idea of where the lines go out of the pump house.
Okay.
So I would say it's probably gonna be off for most of the day. And then it should be back going.
And then
That's
whatever.
just a guess. I mean, that's not something I
Well, it's
asked.
not, nothing's gonna get shut off until we're at that point where the electric ran to,
And once we have a date of when this is gonna happen, we're gonna have to, that's when it's gonna be important to make sure that everybody has the correct phone number and email on file, so that we can communicate to people to let them know ahead of time that, you know, here's the day when they're going to be here, expect for your water to be turned off. We can look at doing, Remind is an easy app, like an app that we could implement, that would text people notifications. And so we could do something like that. It's free, you know, if that's something that people would be interested in doing, I could set that up. But just something so that we can communicate with people to let them know, so that people aren't blindsided and not having water, so.
If that's easy, that's a good idea, just for any general time there's an issue.
Exactly,
That
yeah.
fast data.
Yep. Like, there's been times when it's frozen up before, and it's like, you're kind of depending upon, it's like, trying to get the message around the neighborhood of when the water's gonna be on again. We've had it froze before, so, yeah.
I think before construction start, we should have some sort of MOP method of procedure, or what our plan is for hookup, connection, and everything. I think the electrician is gonna have a lot of play into that too. And we can have that conversation. I mean, if we wanted to look at a budget, I could send one of our estimators up. I could ask somebody to come up, or at least give us a quick number based on information that I give them. I think that might be something we could work with anyways. We're gonna be high, I guarantee you that. But at least that gives us a target. But before we put a shovel in the ground, or before we shut the water off, we should know exactly what the steps are gonna be. And we should be able to nail it down within an hour to 2 hours of how long the water's gonna go off.
correct.
And if something does go wrong, what's gonna be, do we have to get a generator? Do we have to, you know, jury rig a pump up or something like that? So, I mean, I think we could live without water for a couple days, but I think if we put it on paper and we work the plan just like anything else, we should be.
Yeah, we're not gonna know that until we get approval from the state, and then I assume we'll have a construction meeting with Trout, and they'll lay that out for us.
Okay, so I think, you know, based on that information, then maybe we should set out an invite for another meeting so we all can kind of get brought up to speed.
But do we want to establish do we want to meet in July? That would be July 7th, would be after the holiday. That would be the same if we follow the the sanitary district, you know, doing it like this an hour before.
All right, well, then I guess I make a motion to get a meeting on the calendar for July.
Second motion.
I'm hoping we're done before then.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that too late?
Well, okay, well then, let's just put it this way. Let's get that meeting on
Yeah.
the calendar.
Anyways.
And then depending on how the meets go with the construction, if we have to call a meeting in between now and then we'll put out a notice, you know, based on what we're gonna do for construction. Or, and I don't know if we all have to meet on that, but at least get the information out and we know what the timing's gonna be and how long we're gonna be out with the water so people can plan with it, so.
I have to give people a 21-day notice though of any meetings. So like these meetings are set, you know, we're setting this meeting. I'll send a reminder out, but not 21 days before.
Yep.
But if we decide that there's going to be, let's say we get the plans approved and they say, okay, go day is May 20th, or, you know, I doubt that that's gonna happen. I'm just saying, but like if Trout comes, we have our meeting, I need to make sure that I'm notifying people in enough time that so we have to have at least a 21-day lead according to what we voted on. So,
I'll just work that in with Trout.
okay, just putting it out there so that
And maybe
we figure that time in.
quiz Trout and see who they want to work with for electric too,
Yeah.
just to get a quote.
Yeah.
More options, the better.
Okay. I'll work on that.
All right.
And I'm not against, Rich, if you got somebody that can come up and I don't know if they need to talk to Trump and find out what they need.
Well, I think we can get a budget put together based on what I see out there. I'll take some pictures. We'll throw it, just a quick, and we'll get it documented, we'll put it on paper, right? We'll just call it an ROM, rough order of magnitude, based on what we see. And then I would try to get somebody local to do it.
Well, that's what Trump said.
Right, so if they have some suggestions on somebody that they want to work with, but I know we're going to be 15 to 25% higher than anybody up here.
So Rich, you know, we're trying to, eventually I assume we'll have to drop a third well to get away from MDH and stop all this nonsense. Would it be right now to set it up? We'll have 2 wells there. Should we set up 2 services for one for each of those wells at this point, or would we wait till we drop the third one?
Well, why would you set up about, it's only going to be 1 service, 1 meter, right?
If we go to 3 wells, we're going to have 3 separate services, 3 separate wells.
Oh. And that's a state regulation then, right? Or
That's
just to get them
away.
over.
That's to get away from state regulation. They want 3 separate wells, 3 separate buildings, 3 separate easements.
Okay, so what I'm hearing now is that we're going to keep the regular service for the 1 well we have. We got to do an additional service for the new well that we're drilling.
That's what I'm asking. Do we do that now, or do we wait until
Oh, I would do it now.
you would?
For the second.
For the second one? Oh, I mean, you have a choice. I guess the second one now is to get them off our back a little bit, right, if I understand that? And we can control that from our regular meter, right?
Yes.
So if we decide to run the third one, and we have to put another service in, you could always add that second one too, I guess. It's just crazy. But, I mean, you could do it a lot of different ways, just a couple meters.
I need to go back to, Rich made the motion for the meeting on 7/7, Matt seconded it. Any objections, so we can pass that motion? Everyone vote?
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
Could you just send out a notice saying that once this process is started and the principals are all meeting together, which is going to be beyond 21 days from now, we're going to have a slight meeting, you know, in the park where they start. Just a heads up. I mean, it's really not a meeting.
Yeah.
It's an informative thing that if people want to be there, they'll be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't have control over when the contractors will be there either, whether it's morning or afternoon or,
Correct.
you know, Wednesday or Saturday. So just, you know, heads up, that way we're covered
Yeah.
as, you know, as the originators of the idea. Everybody had noticed that this was going to happen and it could be quick.
Yeah.
Or it
Yeah.
could not be.
Okay.
Well, that can always come out in an email to the schedule.
Well, that's just, it's through construction schedule, kick it out with the timing, and then the time the water's going to be shut down, people can start planning for it. Because we don't have that information now.
No one, Trout doesn't have any idea.
No.
Because they'll dig it in one day and I don't know that they'll hook it up that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not sure how they plan to do it.
Any other questions? My computer died, I'm sorry about that. The consumer confidence report,
Yep. That was emailed out, that's a requirement from MDH, that it has to be sent out to all residents by July 1st, I want to say, or
What's
31st. The consumer
Oh, yeah.
confidence report. So everyone should have received a consumer confidence report, and it will be from the year prior. So it'll be all of the 2025 findings. And that's just something from a housekeeping standpoint that we have to do to show that we are communicating with all the residents that are part of the water system, that we're in good standing, what's in the water that they're drinking. So if there's ever any questions about that, you'll need to forward them to the board. But that information, I should forward a copy to you, Matt, if you wouldn't mind
Sure.
putting it on the website.
Website, yep.
Okay, yep. But other than that, make sure that you look for that, because if you didn't get that, then I might not have your email correct. So I want to make sure that everybody saw it.
was thinking about the electric. I guess I would be in favor of, and see, I don't know how it's all, I don't know if it's, they're independent, you know, from the main source, or if there's like a bridge to connect, you know, the different pieces together, but if there's pieces that can be purchased now that are less expensive, that then give us the ability to go to 3 or 2 or whatever, if we can just get those in place now, it would probably just be easier in the future then, just to hook up the future individuals. I would be in favor of hooking up the second one, and getting a separate run for the second one already, so that we already have 2 independent systems available and running. And just in case one or the other goes down, we don't have to, you know, steal the line over here and put it to this one and just kind of.
I was thinking the same line. We could set up a multimeter stack on the building, meter 1, 2, and 3, and we can put the infrastructure in the ground while we're excavating, and we don't have to come back and put it. At least that infrastructure's there, and we can cap it.
Yeah.
And then we can turn it over quicker on the backside. So, you know, that is, you know, something I could put a number together for.
Beautiful.
I think everything's gonna house on the meter socket and everything on the shed anyways. It'll be a good idea to just bring all the power outside of the inside and keep the corrosive stuff done. Just put weatherproof stuff outside there, and then everything will be outside and be able to be locked off with the disconnects there.
With the third well, we're gonna have a second house.
I don't believe so, no.
I know we talked about it a little bit with Trout.
Yeah, because these 2 wells will be variable speed pumps, so you don't need the tanks.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to the Trout already, if we do have to do a third well, we'd like to do a variable speed on our existing well. So then the tanks would be gone.
Yep. Okay.
No,
Okay, so we're gonna have all VFDs and stuff too, right?
Yep. Eventually.
well, hopefully not. I mean, hopefully this well doesn't hit radium and
Correct.
they're off our back, so. But the radium just keeps going up. It's still there, so.
Okay. We have a person that would like to be part of the board.
Not you.
Motion?
You want to nominate her?
I'd like to nominate you. For the
So-
board.
So you're
Chris is
making a
making a
motion to
motion.
nominate Ms. Wolhoff over there?
Yes.
I second the nomination.
Here.
Any objection?
Nope.
Take anybody we can.
Come on down.
Open chair. 16.
I know, that's what I mean. It's a high-paying job. just
Yes.
like your other.
Do we need to be there?
I think he wants us to, but he only works daytime hours and I can't be there during the daytime, so.
I'll see if I can take a day off next week. Works in my life, but I don't know about theirs, but,
Do you just need one representative there? Or does everybody have?
Yeah, I don't know that we have to be, but it'd be nice to see what he says.
yeah. He's pretty negative Nelly.
Oh, that's the state guy or the? Oh.
Is this Colin? Or somebody different?
I believe it'll be Colin. I don't know if the state.
I thought Colin said last time it was somebody else, but,
Oh. I know he said he's coming on the 16th because he's going to take water samples.
okay.
And maybe the other state guy, plan reviewer, usually that David Weedham comes up too with them, so.
But we did move it up to higher ground, so.
Trout gonna have anybody there?
I don't believe.
Can we ask,
It'd be nice to have, do the meeting maybe.
communicate it? I mean, do they have a PM or a project manager on this yet?
Trout might be in there, I can see.
I mean, that would be nice because they're basically our engineer of record, right?
Correct.
We're paying them all kinds of money, so maybe we can squeeze at least a visit out of them.
Well, he's been up, he has no
Yeah.
problem coming up. The state guy don't really give you any options, he just tells you when he's coming.
Yep.
Very frustrating.
We can send them an email.
I would try to request that, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Will do.
What do we have for old business?
Nothing for old business, unless if anybody has any questions or anything that they would like to inquire about.
Nothing?
The motion to conclude the meeting then.
First motion.
I'll second it.
Aye.